If you made $100 million, you'd probably save some and spend the rest. But not these idiots. These NBA players were filthy rich, but money can't fix stupid. And these have to be the absolute dumbest ways NBA players have ever gone broke. Number 1's personalized yacht is our favorite, but let us know yours in the comments below. Number 10. Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice was one of the NBA's best three-point shooters in the 1990s, and after setting 2 All-Star records of the most points scored in a quarter with 20 and the most points scored in a half with 24, he was crowned the NBA All-Star Game MVP in 1997. His 15-year career, which saw him play with Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, earned him a fortune of $68 million. So how did he end up losing his hard-earned wealth? Upon retirement, Glenn lived off of his NBA assets and ventured into business, but he had poor business skills and lacked financial planning. He spent recklessly and made bad investments that failed woefully. These ate up much of his wealth. Also, Glenn had to pay child support for a child he fathered with Robin Duncan of Fort Lauderdale, a woman he had an affair with while still married to Christina Fernandez Rice. And after he lost most of his money to bad investments, he couldn't cope with the child support. He had to ask the judge to lower the child support payment from $1,500 to $600 to enable him to pay. A part of a heartbreaking letter written to the court stated, "The father, Rice, is in dire financial straits. He has attempted to become gainfully employed to various capacities, but has been unable to earn a semblance of meaningful income." Robin and the court agreed to his plea, and the amount was reduced. It also came to light that Glenn's financial advisor, Brian J. Corrent, a former executive representing a management group belonging to Live Nation Entertainment, stole hundreds of thousands from him. To survive, Glenn had to sign lots of autographs and organize private basketball training sessions. Luckily, over the years, Glenn has made a comeback. He works as a scout and serves as an ambassador for the Miami Heat. If you were in Glenn's shoes, how would you have handled your finances? Tell us in the comment section, and please like the video. Keep watching as we progress. Number 9. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman mesmerized us with his super performance during his career, which spanned between 1986 to 2000. Although he made over $43 million in his long career, his net worth now stands at $500,000. While this might not necessarily be considered broke, it kind of is judging from the height he fell from. So how did this blazing basketball star lose his wealth? Well, misplaced trust. Dennis fell for a woman who deceived a lot of athletes claiming to be a financial advisor, when in reality she was a con woman. Boasting a fake degree from Harvard and success on Wall Street, Peggy Ann Fullard gained Dennis's trust and took charge of the player's account, after claiming his financial troubles came from his reckless spending. However, Dennis began to notice red flags when the electricity in the Florida house Fullard bought was cut off. Dennis's former assistant also alerted him that he was behind in his insurance and payments. Fullard was eventually sentenced to 10 years in prison in 2018 for interstate transportation of stolen property. Dennis was one of her victims. However, this doesn't mean Dennis is innocent of extravagant spending. The Los Angeles Times revealed that he owed $830,376 in child support, as well as spousal support in 2012. He was also said to have spent huge sums of dollars on alcohol and strip clubs, although much of the source of the information came from Fullard, so it's quite difficult to tell what Dennis spent and what he lost in the scam. Known for his quirky behavior and series of misconducts, he was charged $200,000 for kicking a referee in the groin. His run-ins with the law cost him thousands of dollars, which included drunk driving and domestic disturbances. He was also once fined $20,000 for leaving his team to wrestle with Hulk Hogan during the NBA Finals playoffs in 1998. He was also charged $20,000 for quarreling with another referee, and when he skipped preseason camp in 1992, he was fined $68,000. All these drained his accounts and left him with a $500,000 net worth, a far cry from his glorious days. He later became a coach for the North Korean Basketball Association and still struggles with debt. If you were a millionaire, what measures would you take to fish out fake advisors? Tell us in the comment section and keep watching. Number 8. Darius Miles. Darius Miles earned a whopping sum of $62 million in his 8-year career, cut short by a knee injury. One would think that he would be more cautious with his money, knowing that the injury had ended his career. But just 6 years after retirement, Darius declared bankruptcy. So what really happened? Raised by his bus driver mother, Darius grew up in East St. Louis, where guns, drugs, and danger were the order of the day. But he was able to escape his surroundings, and at just 18 was drafted into the NBA, and he signed a contract with the Los Angeles Clippers, earning $3 million per year. But his earnings, including endorsement deals from Nike, couldn't last him a lifetime as he had hoped. In his words, "When you're young, you think the money's gonna last forever." Darius blames his financial downfall on wrong investments. He said in an interview, "Listen, it takes a long time to go broke on buying Ferraris. What makes you broke are shady business deals. They'll make your money disappear quick." Darius didn't give much detail about how bad business deals ruined his fortune, but he reportedly lost more than $100,000 in a 2008 real estate deal in California. Another real estate deal, which he did as part of an investment group involving Marshall Falk and rapper Nelly, went wrong in downtown St. Louis, resulting in multiple multi-million-dollar lawsuits and a legal tussle with a local lender. According to Darius, losing his mother to cancer in 2013 plunged him into depression and worsened his money management. When he filed for bankruptcy protection, he listed $500,000 in assets and $1.57 million in total liability, including a $20,000 child support debt and a $282,041 debt he owed to the Internal Revenue Service. To be able to pay his debt after declaring bankruptcy in 2016, Darius was compelled to auction off lots of his belongings. Some of the auction included sports memorabilia, such as an autographed LeBron James jersey, which sold for $1,500, thousands of DVDs and video games, and also expensive firearms like an AR-556 were auctioned. Darius moved to Florida after bankruptcy, staying with his friend and former teammate Richardson. That's how he's doing all right. Number 7. Antoine Walker. In his 16-year career, Antoine Walker earned an amazing $100 million playing for the Mavericks, Celtics, Hawks, Timberwolves, Heat, the NBA D-League, Stampede, and Grizzlies before retiring in 2012. A whole lot of his $100 million fortune has been reduced to $250,000 at a point. Much of his wealth was wasted on writing bad checks involving gambling debts to the tune of $1 million, DUI, and real estate investments that went wrong, costing him around $10 million. Antoine also blamed his ex, Evelyn Lozada, for his financial losses, claiming he spent millions on her and her family. He had to sell his 2006 NBA championship ring, which he won with the Miami Heat. Also, a luxurious lifestyle ate deeply into his wealth, and he can be described as rudderless when it comes to managing his finances. His generous nature also brought him down as well, because he was constantly giving out money to friends and family. However, it's good to know that Antoine has since gotten himself out of debt and bounced back. He has teamed with Morgan Stanley Sports and Entertainment, assisting NBA rookies with advice so they don't make the same mistakes he did. Number 6. Robert Swift. Robert Swift's decline was a sad thing to watch. From being a millionaire at 18 to a destitute addict at 27. How did it go down? Robert earned about $11 million while in the league for 5 years and was let go in 2009 by the Oklahoma City Thunder after they relocated from Seattle. He then played for NBA G League's Bakersfield Jam and also played in Japan, but in 2011 his career was over. And during his career years, he spent his money on family and friends, who always sucked the daylight out of a willing soul, paid child support for his girlfriend, and made bad decisions that phased out his money. The 7'1" center became a cautionary tale of the risk of NBA teams choosing players just out of high school. His financial woes were so much that he was evicted from his foreclosed house, which was ridden with bullet holes, live ammunition, dog feces, and maggots. In 2014, Robert was charged with possession of a sawed-off shotgun. 1 year later, he was arrested in an alleged home invasion robbery scheme. He spent 28 days in jail after a plea bargain deal and was described as a heavily armed heroin addict by local prosecutors. In a 2016 interview with Sports Illustrated, Robert said, "There are still moments where it's rough, thinking about everything that's happened, what I would have done different." Luckily, after his jail sentence in 2015, Robert sold off his gun collection and made a decisive effort to get his life back. He got clean from drugs in 2018 and made a professional basketball comeback, playing for a 5th division team in Spain. Please press the like button if you haven't done so as we continue. Number 5. Eric Williams. Eric Williams made a total of $40 million from his NBA career, a sum that's more than enough to last a lifetime, right? But clearly, Eric couldn't handle it. According to a document obtained by TMZ Sports in 2017, Eric was said to be broke and homeless. The paper read, "Former NBA player Eric Williams, who spent 12 seasons in the league, says he is homeless and broke." Eric, who appeared in Basketball Wives, sent a letter to a Colorado court explaining why he would be unable to make an appearance for a child support hearing. In the letter, he noted that a court-ordered citation for me to appear was not delivered to my home address, as I have no home. In the document, he explained that his condition was so pathetic that he had no money for an airplane fare and would not be able to pay a lawyer. He further told the court through his letter that he was a volunteer for an undisclosed nonprofit organization and was in the process of rebuilding his life. The shocking revelation took everyone by surprise. A player who made $40 million had gone broke to the extent of being homeless. Eric had $24,000 unpaid child support hanging around his neck for the mother of his then 13-year-old son. Eric, who played for the Cavaliers, Nets, Celtics, Nuggets, Bobcats, Spurs, and Raptors, squandered his fortune on luxury, bad business investments, child support, and frivolous spending on family friends. Number 4. Bill Willoughby. Bill Willoughby was the 3rd player in NBA history to be drafted from high school straight to the pros. He was regarded as the best high school basketball player in the U.S., and his first team was the Atlanta Hawks. His career lasted for 8 years, and in 1984, the 6'8" athlete retired. Then his financial woes began. Bill claimed he lost about $1 million to a financial advisor who mismanaged his money. He was in and out of problems, and in 2016, he was arrested for fighting with police. He was accused of possessing marijuana, aggravated assault, and resisting arrest. Talk about grace to grass. Number 3. Jason Caffey. In his career days, Jason Caffey was a role player who was lucky enough to play under the guidance of Michael Jordan in the Chicago Bulls in the late 1990s. The power forward went ahead to win 2 NBA titles and played a total of 8 years in the NBA, playing for the Bulls, the Warriors, and the Bucks. He earned a total of $34 million from his NBA contracts. Yes, you heard that right. 34 mil. So, how did Caffey lose it all? Child support. We all know how draining child support can be. Caffey was no exception to the reality of it. His predicament was on a colossal level. He had fathered 10 children with 8 different women, and each of them was on his neck for child support. Month in, month out, he was paying heavy child support and made national headlines then. Slowly but certainly, his finances were going down. By the time his career ended in 2003, his fortunes had dwindled terribly. In fact, by this time, he was no longer meeting up with the task of child support. He was struggling to make ends meet because, indeed, the well of cash had dried up. It was in 2007 that it dawned on Caffey that he had actually lost most of his wealth due to his reckless romantic engagements. He had to make the ultimate decision. That same year, he filed for bankruptcy to protect himself from all the 8 women, which will see an end to his child support payments. In his bankruptcy protection, he had listed $1.9 million in debts against $1.15 million in assets, most of which were tied up to business ventures. However, a judge in Alabama rejected his bankruptcy case and paved the way for him to be sued for child support. Shortly after, he was arrested and spent a week in Tuscaloosa County Jail for failure to pay child support. Soon after his release, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Cynthia D. Wright ordered his arrest for failing to obey another court order that stated he paid more than $200,000 in child support, also covering legal fees to Lorinda Brown and her attorney. Luckily for Caffey, a judge later ruled in his favor, and even ordered Karen Russell, one of the women with whom he had a child, to pay him $57,470 for violating the rule that prohibited creditors from requesting debt collection when bankruptcy proceedings were ongoing. Eventually, he was able to put a stop to the child support payments and became free of the parasitic women. But then, they had already drained him. However, child support was not Caffey's only problem. He was also plagued with depression and anxiety. At one point in 2010, he was arrested on a third-degree domestic violence charge after he assaulted a 46-year-old woman and was later released on a $1,000 bail. To put the pieces of his life back together, Caffey now runs a string of daycare facilities and a sports bar where he makes $11,500 a month, all located in his hometown. He's returned to Alabama State University, where he had earlier dropped out in the 1990s to complete a degree in physical education. He hopes to graduate in 2024. Number 2. Chris Washburn. The story of Chris Washburn is one of the saddest in NBA history. Drafted number 3 by the Golden State Warriors in 1986, the center appeared in only 72 games in less than 2 seasons before a failed drug test within 3 years fetched him a lifetime ban from the league. By then, he had played for the Golden State Warriors and the Hawks, amassing around $9 million. On forcefully being retired, he spiraled into heavy drug addiction and was completely out of tune with anything happening around him. How drugs have ruined lots of athletes is mind-boggling. Soon after, Chris found himself homeless and feeding from trash cans, a total distortion of who he was meant to be. He bagged a 13-month prison sentence for drug charges and couldn't even get a starting position on his penitentiary basketball team. Thankfully, Chris was able to get clean and has stayed sober for more than 15 years. He became his ailing mother's caregiver in his hometown, Hickory, North Carolina. Number 1. Latrell Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell was a 4-time All-Star whose career of 13 years fetched him a handsome sum of $100 million. But his erratic behavior cost him heavily when in the 1997 to 1998 season, he attempted to choke coach PJ Carlesimo during a practice for telling him to put a little mustard on his passes. He was consequently banned for 68 games without pay. During this time, he was offered a 3-year contract of $21 million by the Timberwolves, but you know what? He turned it down, saying it wasn't sufficient money to feed his children. Not only did he stay on 1-year suspension without pay, he lost a golden opportunity to recover from the coming losses. A highly controversial figure, Spree bought several luxury cars that many of us only see in dreams. A Rolls-Royce Phantom, a Maybach, a personalized Lamborghini, and a 70-foot yacht named Milwaukee's Beast. By February 2008, most of his $100 million amassed had long vanished. It was in 2008 that Citizens Bank filed a foreclosure suit on the $405,000 house in Milwaukee he bought in 1994, as reported by ESPN. It was also revealed in a document that Spree had an unpaid $300,000 in outstanding payments and was behind in paying his $2,593 per month mortgage from September 2007 to January 2008. His New York mansion, which he bought at $2.3 million, was foreclosed by Deutsche Bank in 2015. It was later listed for sale in 2017 for a lower price of $1.5 million, according to the Journal News. Spree's yacht was seized by North Fork Bank and auctioned for $856,000, much less than the $1.5 million of its original worth. And failing to maintain the required insurance, Spree was owing $1.3 million on the vessel. As if his financial problems weren't already bad enough, the mother of his 3 children filed a $200 million lawsuit against him in early 2007. According to her, Spree had violated their long-term cohabitation deal and had treated her badly the previous month. Wow, how easy it is to burn millions! But Spree has been known to take his losses with hearty laughter and is now worth around $150,000. Thank you for watching to the end, and leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet.